Alright, picture this. You're settled in your seat, tray table stowed, phone on airplane mode. Everything seems perfectly normal. But what if it's not? What if there are subtle clues hidden in plain sight that signal a major problem? Tonight, we're diving into 13 of these blink-and-you-miss-it danger signs, the kind pilots secretly hope you never notice. Because if you do, there's a good chance that flight isn't going anywhere. Buckle up. This is going to be an eye-opener. First up is the wet window. It looks, well, wet. Not on the surface you can touch, but between the panes of glass. Condensation, maybe? No. That tiny bit of moisture could be a signal that a critical pressure seal is failing. If you ignore it, you might be scrambling for an oxygen mask in the next 15 minutes. Moving on to number 2, the faulty cargo door. This requires some observation as you're boarding. While the ground crew works, watch the cargo hatch. You're looking for the latch fingers, the sturdy mechanical claws that secure the door. They should be clean, perfectly straight, and fully rotated into their locked position. In 1989, a Boeing 747 departed with a forward cargo door that wasn't properly locked. When it blew open at 23,000 feet, the explosive decompression caused the cabin floor to collapse, severing critical control cables. It was a catastrophe, all stemming from a seemingly minor issue with a latch. So, if you spot a latch that looks bent, grimy, or even slightly out of place, discreetly take a photo and show it to the lead flight attendant. You might be the extra pair of eyes that prevents a disaster. Number 3 on our list is the black puff. When an engine starts, it should spool up smoothly, with maybe a tiny wisp of gray smoke. What is not normal is a thick cloud of charcoal belching from the exhaust. That black smoke is unburned fuel, a sign of what mechanics call a hot start. The engine isn't igniting correctly, and that excess fuel can lead to scorching temperatures, potentially warping the delicate turbine blades inside. Black smoke at startup is a major maintenance red flag. Coming in at number 4, the proud panel. Aircraft are engineered with incredible precision. Every panel and seam must be perfectly flush with the fuselage to ensure smooth aerodynamics. An inspector's trick is to use a playing card. If it can slip under a panel, that panel is proud. It's raised and not properly seated. From your window seat, you can spot the same thing by looking for an unusual shadow or a gap. This isn't just a cosmetic flaw. A protruding panel disrupts airflow, creates drag, and can cause vibrations that could snap a hydraulic line. It's a small detail with huge consequences. Next up, number 5, the shiny patchwork. Airplanes get bumps and scrapes, and sometimes you'll see tape on them. This isn't duct tape. It's speed tape, an incredibly strong adhesive rated for high speeds. But here's the crucial detail. It's only for superficial cosmetic fixes. It is not a structural repair. If you see a wide, shiny sheet of this tape plastered over a major area, like where the wing meets the body, that's a serious red flag. It's a temporary band-aid on a problem that needs a proper repair in a hangar. Let's talk about number 6, the silent flaps. As your plane prepares for takeoff, you should hear a distinct low hydraulic whine as the flaps and slats extend from the wings. That sound is the hydraulic system, a vital network of fluid-powered mechanisms, doing its job. If you hear complete silence, that's a bad sign. It could mean the primary hydraulic system has failed and a backup electric motor has taken over. If you're down to a backup, you're one failure away from a very difficult and potentially dangerous landing. Number 7. The bald tire. So, take a good look at the landing gear tires as you board. They should have clear grooves, just like a new car tire, which are essential for grip in wet conditions and for dissipating the immense heat of a landing. If you see a slick, worn-out center stripe or tires that look bald, it's a sign the previous landing may have been too heavy. When the rubber overheats, a tire can blow. And here's a sneaky trick: if you see ground crew spraying the tires with black paint to make them less bald, that's a massive red flag. Next, number 8, the missing rivet. These tiny fasteners hold the aircraft's skin together. One missing rivet might be overlooked, but 2 missing within a 3-inch radius should get your attention. Metal fatigue multiplies quickly on an aircraft that goes through hundreds of pressurization cycles. Look for tiny dark dots where the paint dimples inward, showing a fastener has popped out. If you spot something, use your phone's zoom to get a clear picture. Missing rivets weaken the airframe, and ignoring them can lead to structural failure. Point 9 is the frozen wing underside. In cold weather, you'll see de-icing trucks spraying the top of the wings, but they often miss the bottom. If you see frosty white ice on the of the wing, that's cold-soaked fuel frost. It happens when super chilled fuel in the tanks causes moisture to freeze on the wing's skin. Why is this so dangerous? Ice as thin as a credit card can reduce the wing's lift by up to 30%. That is a massive reduction that makes takeoff incredibly risky. If you notice it, politely tell a flight attendant. Number 10. The flickering logo light. That illuminated airline logo on the tail fin is more than just branding. It often shares an electrical circuit with critical systems. If you see that light flickering or going out, it could signal a deep electrical issue. A flicker usually means a voltage sag from a bad connection. One voltage spike can cause critical computers to malfunction. If you see the tail light going disco, tell the crew immediately, preferably before you reach the runway. Let's talk about number 11, the leaking joint. One of the most critical fluids in an aircraft is hydraulic fluid. It's typically honey-colored and leaves a dark, oily stain when it leaks. If you spot a drip forming under the fairing where the wing meets the fuselage, you're looking at a serious problem. That's 3,000 psi fluid under immense pressure. If it misses and hits a hot surface, it can ignite. A hydraulic leak isn't just a control issue, it's a fire hazard. If you see those telltale stains, speak up. Next, number 12, the angry ground crew. As your plane pushes back, the ground crew should be calm and professional. So if you see them arguing, gesturing frantically, or pointing emphatically at the wheel wells or under the fuselage, something is wrong. Maybe it's a small brake fire, a critical pin left in the landing gear, or newly discovered damage. Whatever it is, the initial inspection missed it, and tensions are high. Their agitation isn't just a bad mood. It's a sign they've found a last-minute issue. Finally, number 13, the no-chime door. After the main cabin door is closed, you should hear a distinct two-tone chime. That chime is the audible confirmation that the emergency slides have been armed and are ready to deploy in an evacuation. If there's no chime, the slide isn't armed. After the door is sealed, count to 10. If you hear silence, mention it to a flight attendant. It's better to feel a little awkward than to be sorry when it's too late.
Airports are like mini-cities with their own languages, rules, and secrets. Most travelers never realize what's going on behind the scenes. But today, you will. These are 8 airport secrets staff are trained never to talk about. And number 1 might make you think twice before touching anything. You've probably walked past someone at the airport without even realizing they were profiling you. Airports use special experts trained in SPOT, screening passengers by observation techniques. These aren't just TSA agents, they're behavioral analysts, trained to read facial micro-expressions, fidgeting, sweating, lip-licking, and darting eyes. It's like having a human lie detector in the terminal. Let's say someone's calmly checking in, but their hands are shaking and they keep glancing around. To you, they just look nervous. But to a SPOT agent, that's a flag. They'll ask something simple like, "What's the purpose of your visit?" and observe how you react. If your story doesn't add up or your nonverbal cues are suspicious, you'll be discreetly pulled aside. And here's the twist. They're not just at security. They're in the check-in area, near baggage drop, and at passport control, watching without you noticing. You haven't said a word, but the airport already knows you're stressed. Why? Because many airports now use aggression detection cameras powered by artificial intelligence. These cameras analyze facial heat maps, breathing patterns, and even posture to detect elevated aggression. Imagine walking through a terminal while your image flashes red on a screen, all because you were irritated from a flight delay. And it goes deeper. Some systems flash subliminal images, barely visible cues designed to provoke stress, and then monitor your reaction using infrared sensors. In seconds, the system can flag you for extra screening before you even approach the security line. We're not far from a world where security checks you without ever touching you. Once your bag is checked in, it enters a maze of conveyor belts, scanners, and automated sorters. Here's the truth. No human at the airport is watching it closely after that. Airport staff move your bags from check-in to the plane, but once it's in the system, it's on its own. If the barcode is smudged or the tag has old destination stickers, the wrong scanner might send your luggage to an entirely different airport. That's why bags sometimes arrive late or early. Imagine landing in Paris and your suitcase is already waiting for you in Istanbul. And airport workers? They'll tell you, once it's on the belt, it's no longer their problem. Pro tip, always tear off old tags and never rely solely on bag check stickers. A permanent luggage tag with your info can be a lifesaver. You've seen police dogs at customs, but what you haven't seen are the undercover sniffer dogs operating behind the scenes. Before bags are even loaded, they pass through 5 security layers. And one includes dogs trained to detect trace amounts of explosives or chemicals. But unlike Police K9S, these dogs aren't meant to scare you. In fact, they look like regular pets. Golden retrievers, Labradors, even pointers. Trained not to bark or intimidate, but to silently alert handlers. They're trained using reward-based methods, and some are so subtle in their alerts that even nearby passengers never notice. Fun fact: a well-trained detection dog can smell a teaspoon of sugar in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's the level of sensitivity we're talking about. Ever wondered who makes your plane meal, or when? Airline meals are cooked in massive airport catering kitchens, and these places never sleep. Meals are often cooked 8 to 10 hours before your flight, sometimes even the night before. These kitchens serve dozens of airlines at once, working around the clock to prep and portion food trays with military-level precision. Here's a weird truth. Airline menus are finalized up to a year in advance, especially for international flights. Every ingredient matters, even down to how long it can stay fresh in flight. That's why something as small as an olive made history. American Airlines saved $40,000 by removing 1 olive per salad from business class. Multiply that by millions of meals a year, and you see why every bite counts. You know the air traffic control tower? That's just the tip of the iceberg. There are actually 3 kinds of air traffic controllers: tower, terminal, and en route. And they don't just handle planes in the sky. They direct everything on the ground, from taxiways to lighting. Picture this: 1 controller watching 5 separate monitors, each displaying live flight data, weather updates, and ground traffic. They coordinate with ground crew, pilots, other towers, and even border agents. Every second counts. If they give the wrong command, that could delay not just your flight, but dozens behind you. It's one of the most stressful jobs in the world, and mistakes aren't an option. Most people don't know this, but if you fly into a country with no valid visa, the airline gets fined and must fly you home at their expense. That's why agents at check-in obsess over your travel documents. It's not just protocol, it's financial survival. Let's say you show up for a flight to Canada, but your visa expired last month. The airline still lets you on. They now have to pay for your return flight, hotel stay during processing, and possibly face legal action. So next time the agent triple checks your documents, remember, they're not just being thorough. They're protecting their bottom line. Ever been asked to rub your hands on a small cloth and wonder why? You were just scanned by an explosives trace detector, a machine called an ETD atomizer. Before their shifts, agents load the device with chemical samples of banned substances. The machine then remembers those molecules. Even microscopic residue from touching something suspicious, say fertilizer or fireworks, can trigger an alert. And here's the kicker: even if you washed your hands, the trace can still remain on your skin or clothes. So if you're handling anything that might resemble banned materials, even legally, be prepared for extra screening. So now you know what airport staff don't want you to know, and probably never thought you'd learn. From invisible scanners to behavior profilers, you've just unlocked a side of air travel most people will never see. But here's the real question: which one of these secrets shocked you the most? Was it the facial recognition cameras tracking your stress? The dog sniffing your luggage in silence? Or maybe it was the atomizer that knows what's been on your hands? Let us know in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to know which secret made you stop and go, "Wait, what?" And hey, if you've got that one friend who's always getting flagged at TSA or swears their bag disappears on purpose, share this video with them. Help them fly smarter. If you learned something new today, give this video a like. It tells the algorithm we're doing something right. And if you want more travel secrets, airport hacks, and behind-the-scenes airline insights like this, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got full videos planned on how to spot airline pricing traps, the truth about duty-free, and even how to get free upgrades without paying a dime. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. And now, you fly smarter than 99% of passengers.